Okay. Team news? Any good or bad news?
Depends what you mean by good and bad. Kane Hemmings has trained today, so I always nervously say it because you never know if you get reactions. But if he comes through that today and he's okay tomorrow, then hopefully he'll be back in the contention. Obviously, we lose Ben for the game, so that's a loss. And Sam Stubbs, he played with his groin heavily strapped up on Monday, passed a fitness test in the morning, and he's managed to get through training today as well. So fingers crossed, all of that looks positive.
Touch on the sendings off. There's been a couple in recent weeks. How frustrating has that been for your survival bid?
Yeah, obviously one was just a little bit of a comedy of errors with the back pass, and keepers tried to resurrect the situation, etc. But obviously Ben will be disappointed with Monday, as we all are, and that's what pressure and anxiety can do sometimes. You do things out of character, and it was a blow on Monday because we felt we could win the game.
Do you think it's maybe nerves? Is it something that perhaps wouldn't happen if you were in a different position?
I don't know. I know pressure and anxiety can cause strange decisions in any workplace, in any family life, in any walks of life. So who knows what it's down to? But like I say, we feel it cost us on Monday, and we've just got to make sure that we regroup and rally and get ourselves ready to try and take maximum points on Saturday.
Talking of nerves and anxiety, it really is crunch time now with 2 games to go. Do you see that in the players, or is there a lighter feel around the team at the moment? What's the kind of mood is what I'm getting at?
Well, there's 2 ways of looking at the situation we're in. I think I don't need to tell the players, and no one needs to say the words "we have to win," really, because of where we are. I know that's not mathematically true, but in many ways it is a must-win game. So no one really needs to say that to us. My job now is to try and get these players to go and play a game of football. And regardless of the importance of the game of football, they need to be able to be ready to handle the situation, the occasion. It's our last home game of the season, and it's a desperately important one. And we'll only know come what match day how that's going to go. But certainly, the way I've tried to get the mood is to lighten it, is to be positive, is to look at being positive on Saturday and trying to take this game, this season, down to the last game.
Are you going to have to attack on Saturday? Are you going to have to just go gung-ho, or is that the wrong attitude to take?
I think you have to just be positive, and you have to be positive in the way you defend, you have to be positive in the way you attack. If we go gung-ho and find ourselves 2-0 down at half-time, it would be the wrong decision. If we sit back and we lose 1-0 and we don't create much, we'll never know. So we'll certainly try and pick a team that will have a go for it. Like I say, we have to have a look at the bodies and the availability of players and what shape we can pick, etc, etc. But we'll try and get it right. Winning games of football takes all sorts of qualities, and we need to try and show them all. But the best chance we've got of showing them all is to go out there and embrace the situation and look forward to the game and see it as a positive, a chance to get ourselves out of that bottom 2 going into the last game, rather than look at it as a negative and say, if it all went wrong, what could happen?
I know before now you said you didn't look at other results, but with it being so close to the end of the season, would other scorelines on Saturday change the way you view the game, let's say going into the second half or something like that?
No, not at all. I think we're just going to try and win the game. And on Monday, the best thing we could do on the hour when we'd had to make the changes was to try and make sure we took something from the game. And we still wanted to win the game, but we felt the best chance would be to nick it from a long throw, a set piece, a breakaway, rather than try and chase it at 2-1 down, because we went stupidly at the game. And it was, as it proved, it was a valuable point, because if we hadn't, I think it would make our job a lot harder. So Saturday we've got to go and try and win a game of football, and we try and do that every week, so nothing changes there. We're just going to have to handle the pressures of we've run out of games, and it's really coming down to it now.
What sort of pressures do you think Grimsby will bring? What do you expect from them on Saturday?
It's been tough. They've obviously had a bad run themselves. They had a really good run earlier on. They've had a slightly, a difficult run recently. I think 1 in 10 they finally won the other day, so they'll be on a high from that. I think they've got quite a few injury problems as well. So, we don't know what we're going to face. We don't know what shape they're going to pick, whether they'll change, whether they'll rest. No one really knows. And I keep coming back to the point of, if we don't play well as a team, we probably won't win, because we're not good enough to not play well and win. So we just got to focus on trying to play well, and if we do that, then it gives us a better chance of winning.
Have you felt the nerves yourself this week?
Not so much I feel the nerves. I as a manager, you rack your brains as a leader to try and find the right way to approach the week, the game, the players, look them in the eyes, how you can lift the place, how you can give us the best chance of winning. So I wouldn't say I've felt the nerves, because I feel the nerves at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, because I can't actually get out on the pitch, and it's out of my hands at that point. But what's in my hands now is that I prepare us right, and then feel confident at 3 o'clock on Saturday because I've prepared us right.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Neal, last time we spoke to you, we were talking about Elliot Ward's contract situation. Have you managed to talk to him? What's the latest you can tell us?
The latest I can tell you is, as far as I am aware at the moment, Elliot Ward isn't available for selection.
Right. Did you talk to him about dropping him?
I spoke to Elliot Ward, but however it's panned out, it looks like he's not going to be available for selection.
Did it mean that he hasn't got that clause in the contract?
He's spoken to the people at the club about the clause, and as far as I'm aware now, he won't be available for selection. So you can read into that or write into that what you want, but I've had a chat with him, and that's where I understand it is.
How frustrated are you by that?
Well, listen, there's 1,000,001 things you can get frustrated by at this season and what's happened here, etc. But I can't worry about things I can't affect that aren't in my control. Saturday at 3 o'clock won't be in my control either. But what will be in my control is how I lead the group, how I pick the group up, how I try and get the group to be coming in on Saturday at 1:30, whatever time, ready for this game, looking forward to it, looking forward to the challenge, looking forward to going out there and having a right go. Excited by the fact we can take it to the last game of the season, and that's what I want to do, and not have them fearing, the reaction or the response if it didn't go great.
What does that mean for your centre-back options? And we obviously Ben with Richard. I know Sean played in the reserves, didn't he, earlier in the week?
Well, I'm putting Coxie through a rigorous fitness regime as we speak. We just analyse it tomorrow. Today we worked hard at intensity and getting the boys training really, really well, putting a smile on their face, going through stuff we know that we can do better. And tomorrow we'll try and nail down the tactical elements and the shape and whatnot. But today I needed to find out who I had available. Did Kane Emmons get through the session? Has he had any reaction, and so on and so forth? So there was no point in trying to guess, because things change day on day in football.
Have you done anything different in the preparations this week to try and sort of alleviate any pressure that players may have felt?
We've had a chat. I've had a chat with the group. First thing I did this morning. It's quite simple, elephant in the room time. There's no point in just ignoring where we are and what the situation is and how everyone's feeling around the club. There's no point in ignoring it. The elephant in the room is to talk about it, to put it out there, but then to talk about how we're going to deal with it together, how we're going to try and do this together. And we're going to have to face pressure, and people in football face pressure, and it's a lot more enjoyable at the top, I can assure you, but we are where we are, and we've got to look at this as a chance to have a fantastic, wonderful achievement come Saturday week.
As an experienced manager, when you address the players, what kind of mood did you sense when you were talking to them? Apprehensive or?
No, everyone reacts differently. Some people don't feel it at all. They're just, the things you're talking about, they kind of go, I don't know what, I don't feel like that. And others think, yeah, I'm feeling like that, and are nodding and going, right, yeah, this is how, yeah, good point, I'm going to deal with that. Everyone's different. You address the group, and if it affects the 4 or 5 that are feeling the pressure that needed that chat, then great. 4 or 5 have come through it and are in a better place.
Grimsby, obviously Christian Dennis is on loan there at the moment. I presume the conditions of that loan means he can't play at the weekend?
I hope so. Yeah, no. Christian's actually injured, as it's, but he wouldn't have been out to play anyway. But I think Christian's season, as far as I'm aware, might be over anyway. He got an injury on Monday that looks like it'll keep him out for the remaining weeks.
And what would your message be to the supporters coming into the stadium on Saturday? I mean, obviously they've made their frustrations clear in recent weeks. What would your message be to them in terms of trying to generate the right atmosphere?
There's not much I can say that I don't normally say before home games. You know, I understand where they are, and I understand that you know, myself as manager, I've been here 4 months now, 4.5 months, and the players that have been here 2.5 months, 3 months that are out on that pitch, we're the only ones they can really voice their opinion to. We understand that, and we're the only ones that can save the situation, and we're going to do our best to try and save that situation under the pressure of where we are. You know, get behind the team, usual kind of stuff that we need, and we're going to do our very best, and you know, we really want to bring it home for them.
How has this affected you personally? I mean, how hard is it as a manager when you go home? Because it can be the loneliest job in the world at times. How have you coped with it yourself?
It hurts. I can't hide the fact that, you know, not being able to build enough momentum to get us out of it. You know, you wrestle with that as a manager. Part of you says that you've only got so much in your own hands, but you know, it is what it is. You know, I'm there. I'm the one who can make the decisions. You know, we're limited on what we can select now. We've got a limited squad now with injuries and whatnot. All I can do is I can't get these 6 points or whatever it is we might need, but I can certainly make it harder for my team to. And my job's not to do that. But you know, in my moments at home, and of course I feel the burden, and I want that to be on me. I feel the frustrations or the anxiety or anger of the fans, and I'm happy to take all that on me, because you know, if it gives my players a better chance of solving this, then let it be on me. But you know, I'm human. It hurts, and you know, I have to keep picking myself up and, you know, going out there and lifting that group of players and seeing if we can achieve something remarkable.
Sleepless nights?
Haven't been too bad. It's hard when you're away from the family. You know, when I do manage to go back, I'm not too bad. But when you're on your own, all you think about is work. So that doesn't help with sleepless nights. But it is what it is. We've got 10 days to go, and if I have to not sleep for 9 of them, then that's what it will take. But hopefully we can do it.
And if you were to pull it off, how highly would it rank given everything that you've had to contend with?
Jesus, it'd be a massive achievement. It would be, but like I say, I'm not trying to get an achievement for me to look good for a career or something. There's 10, 12, 15,000 supporters who are desperate to have their identity of their club kept, and you know, that's all I'm trying to do it for.
Hi Neal, I'm sorry if we haven't got
No problem.
bits we've already mentioned. After the game on Monday, Craig Smith said to the media that there was a real sense of belief among the players that you can still pull this off. Have you seen that in training this week?
Yeah, I believe the boys, you know, obviously we lost and we've drawn and all the results have kind of gone the same. I believe the boys still feel that it's there for them. Obviously, like we say, Saturday's a pivotal game, but yeah, absolutely, they do. And like I say, we've tried to put the elephant in the room for Saturday's game. We know what's at stake, but try and embrace that and not let it affect our performance.
In a few weeks ago, after you took the players for that coffee down by the River Trent, you said that there was a real emphasis on keeping training sessions really fun. Is that something that you've kept up since then?
Yeah, there's no point in me walking around feeling the weight of the world on my shoulders and letting it be known and going, you know, too much in every little facet of a tactic or whatever, because it will get lost on the group at the moment. You know, we're going out to play a game of football, and the mentality and the feeling amongst the group is the most important thing. And you know, at a time when we need to come together, we're trying to bring the group together more than ever to cope with the pressures together.
How do you do that? How help the players not to feel as nervous when they step out on that pitch at 3 o'clock on Saturday?
Well, like I said before, having a talk, putting the elephant in the room, so to speak, is one, because we all know it's a game that we must win and must try and win, and we want to take it to the last game of the season. So that's one way of doing it, and it's a game of football, and an important game of football. There's so many things that go on in this world that are shocking and terrible, and lives are lost. And we're going out to play a game of football, and we're going to try and save the league status of this club, and we have to take a deep breath and embrace that.
What kind of game are you expecting here against Grimsby?
I hope one that takes off as far as the atmosphere. I hope it's not cagey. Grimsby have got their pride to play for, and I'm sure they'll be looking to end the season on a high. We've obviously got it's all on us, but I hope it's one where the atmosphere and the tempo's vibrant, and we feed off of the fans, they feed off of our performance, and it ends up being a really positive day, and that's the type of game I want.
What do you think it is that Notts have struggled at home in some recent games?
I think the honest answer is probably anxiety. There's no away from home. They tend to look a lot freer. You get always at every club you probably get a slightly different type of support away from home compared to at home. It's all in one area, and probably comes across a bit louder at times. But at home you have a certain pressure, certain anxiety, and a certain expectation. Maybe that's what it is. But ultimately, if you look across the season as a whole, from start to finish, we haven't got enough or had enough of the qualities to win games of football regularly. And winning games has been very, very tough for this club for a whole season.
I just wanted to touch on the reserves as well. Of course, they played the final here against Bournemouth yesterday, sadly lost, but how encouraging was it for you to see?
Well, it tells me, to be fair, the fact they got there's great, and so credit to that. But it tells me, people always ask me about the academy and playing young players and stuff like that, and I always say they haven't got the facts. I watch these boys in training regularly against the first team boys, so I know how far off they are. And if you had your job on the line and you're choosing which players to put in the team out of a certain group, why wouldn't I put a young player in who's better than what I've got, if he's better than what I've got, or even if he's close to what I've got, and the Bournemouth game told us a lot of things we already knew, that there's a lot of super talented boys out there in Premier League clubs. We played Southampton earlier in the season, got beat 6-0. And all 10 of Southend's outfield players were on a different level. So there's a lot to do, and I want the players, the young players here, to look at that and say, I need to work harder, not expect to be in the team, because with where we are at the moment, the team that we've got in and around on that pitch is by far the best team we can put out there, and that's the facts.
It's brilliant. Wish well said. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, can I just grab, just a couple, I know you've been here a while. I'm thinking of things you can draw on, and are there moments in your career, at times when you've received particular messages, or messages you've been able to give out, that you're drawing on at the moment?
Well, obviously at Wimbledon in my first year, I was a rookie back then, but my first season, we were bottom of the league at Christmas. We were adrift, and from Christmas until the end of the season, we finished 8th, and we had to win the last game to stay up. So, and we was 2-0 down in the game before, and it was out of our hands, and we come back and drew 2-2. But they're different scenarios, they're different teams, they're different situations. But the feeling is the same. There's a negative feeling around being down the bottom, and there's an anxiety around being down the bottom. So they're two key things that I've faced, albeit two different teams and two different situations. So you draw on that.
And what was the message from that? What was it?
They're different scenarios, but there was things that I noticed in the Wimbledon team that I thought could help in their psyche. Every time we conceded a goal, because ultimately you do when you're down the bottom, you're defensively not as good, and the same's here. Little things you can do so that the lads lift their heads and keep believing. But they're different groups of players, and people take it on differently. But we kept the place light and bubbly, and tried to keep the pressure away from the group all the way through that, and we managed to do it. We're trying to do the same today, tomorrow, this week, next week, and like I say, there's no right or wrong. There's just a feeling that goes with the situation, and I feel this is the way to try and carry us through it.
And this place has changed on and off the field, it feels like, top to bottom, since I stood on the field with players celebrating at Oldham and that great escape happened. Is there ever a club folk memory almost you can draw on, that kind of feeling, this club's been here before and done it before? Can you
it's hard to do that. I mean, this club's, like you say, is a massively different place. It's a massively different place now to when I arrived. You know, when I arrived, I was interviewed by 3 people, and 2 of them have gone and 1 more might be going. So, you know, this place is, there's less staff here than there was before, and there's less people, and so on and so forth. So this place has changed massively, and like I say, we're trying to keep the bubble around the group and the players. They know the history, they know what's at stake, they know the club status. You know, they're all things that they're desperate to do well for. But sometimes the more desperate you are to do well, the more anxiety that you can create. You know, sometimes you're better off not caring, because you just go out and be more free. So when people say they don't care, I always take it that's wrong, because they probably care too much and it's affecting them. So my job's to try and alleviate some of that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? John said is outside, so really quick, please. Yeah.
Sorry, Neil, just one quick one. With the fact that you've managed a team in this situation, when you were at Wimbledon in your first season, you said, do you think that gives you an advantage possibly over Sol at Macclesfield and at Yeovil?
No, I know it's been there, done it, but ultimately, one thing we all know, it'll be the players that keep us up. It won't be me. I won't be the one that comes up with some weird and wonderful new tactic that no one's ever seen before, and that does it. It'll be the players. It'll be them moments within games where somebody composes himself and does the right thing. They'll be the ones. They'll be the heroes if we do it. I'll be the villain if we don't. But you know, and it will be down to now. You know, Macclesfield have got the advantage quite clearly. The win they had at Exeter's put them in pole position, and we're all chasing. And you know, the best we can hope for now is we take it to the last game. It'd be brilliant if we could take it to the last game in our hands. But if not, the best we can hope for is we take it to the last game, and you know, we'll do everything we can to get there.